Okay, welcome everybody to another podcast episode of Torq Moto. I'm particularly excited about this one. Wobbs, I know you are too, because the guest we've got on for this one, he likes a bit of controversy. Well, he did back in the day, but he's older and mature now.
He's not getting any better. And legend's a very often used word, and I don't use it often. And I use it wisely with this man.
Hold on to that thought. Our guest on this episode is Billy MacKenzie. We're going to speak to Billy in a minute. Just before we do that, we are, again, really, how will I put it? Well, we're a bit taken back by the feedback from the first episode. We're recording this after the first episode. So thank you for everybody that's got involved. Nice comments on the first episode with Mark Chamberlain. That went really well. Mark particularly enjoyed it, so much so that his mum wants to see the second part of it ASAP because she was super impressed by it. So thanks to that. Also, a big shout out to Talon because they've come on board since the first episode and really got involved with us. And of course, if you don't know what Talon's about, it's a British engineering company for purveyors of all good wheels and sprockets. It doesn't stop there, Wobbs, does it? They are now turning their attention to other stuff like triple clamps. Now, I know some of you might be listening to this on Spotify or Apple, so you won't actually see the clamps, but Wobbs, you've got them there in front of you. So
hold on a second,
just offering them up there for people to see. So
I mean, like, you can't, like I say, you can't see these. They're trick as fuck. That's all you need to know.
There you go. Do you reckon they've done that in their advert campaign?
I'm not sure if that's an actual phrase they want us to use, but you can't fault them. The engineering is absolutely mint, and the boys have surpassed themselves. They're adjustable offset.
You'd know all this because this is your thing.
I do know all this, yeah.
See, I look at that and know that they look trick, but like you know, beyond that,
that is some good engineering.
Can I get a sit?
I don't know.
You better ask them.
Talon.
The boys are good as gold, in fairness. The boys down there have done cracking job.
Aren't they? They're the ones that I've seen recently, like being advertised on
my
phone.
No, these are
on my phone and stuff.
The new clamps.
New to this,
new clamps are super, super nice. I don't. You have sent me a spec sheet, but I haven't really read it.
Let's have a look.
We've been
I don't
busy.
need to. There you go. Can I check them out?
Yeah.
They are.
You check them out while we give Billy his introductions. Billy's going to look, for those of you that are listening.
You haven't introduced anybody yet.
No, I'm just about to.
I'm
just about to. He's already dived in because he can't help himself because he's ready for this.
I know.
Right, anyway, here he is. We're going to start conversation now with Billy MacKenzie. I've just picked him up from the airport, Birmingham Airport. We've already had a mini podcast on the way down. I wish I recorded that.
That is the trouble. We end up talking and then we have to go back over what we've already said.
Yeah.
But it's all right.
It's fine. It was a good warm up because we need to warm up for this chat, don't we?
No,
we do.
I've not been on mic on camera. I've got comfortable a little bit with the vets thing going on.
Yeah.
To get my face out there, like it was the perfect opportunity for me to just like mouth off a little bit and have a bit of smack talk. I've been,
that's what it's all about.
That's you getting
I was just having
comfortable,
too much. Yeah. Well,
you seem more than comfortable to me. Quite confident, I'd say. In front of you haven't lost the Midas touch.
I've got to give Brian Wheeler a shout out for smack talk though.
Brian Wheeler.
Brian takes some beating for smack talk. He is.
Really?
Him and Trampers Parker back in the day. That was funny.
It was good, wasn't it?
Funny.
We'll get on to talking about the VMXDN, obviously, as we're going to do, because Billy was at that, and we'll talk about that.
We're going to be talking plenty about the VMXDN.
This is going to be...
Don't you worry about that.
I'd be amazed if this isn't a three-parter.
Oh.
The beers are already out, so this is a good thing.
Yeah, you boys were late. I'm like 3 years
We're
already.
late, so you're already half cut. Billy's staying the night as well, so he can sink a few. I want to start this particularly with one defining moment in Billy's career. I got to know Billy from a young age, when he was obviously doing the thing with Dixon on a 125. But for me, one of the most defining moments, partly because I was involved with the event, the Isle of Wight GP.
Are we talking about a stripper tent again?
No, we're not talking about that. There's plenty to talk about that. Just the moment when you won a moto.
I think the whole shot. I'm not even winning. I think the whole shot was something else.
I was third. I didn't quite get the whole shot because, I was literally racing a bunch of midgets and I'm like 20 kilograms heavier than them all. But I finally got a good start.
Factory Kawasaki?
No, it was on the Yamaha, mate. I'm on a 250. You're stuck in Japan.
You're
stuck in Japan. We'll get to that. We'll get to my that was some GP.
God, yeah. That was some GP you must have had if you were thinking he was on a Kawasaki.
You were on Kawasaki. I was fair pissed most of the time.
Yeah, you were. I do remember.
Me and Emmig, we had Emmig as a guest, didn't we? And we were fucking drinking.
And wasn't there like mini bike races? There was all kinds of shit going on that weekend.
We had the best time.
I think that is one of the best British Grand Prix in people's
so.
memories.
I'm not bad mouthing Steve. Steve does a cracking job, but that was a different time.
Oh, thanks, guys. I feel all
it's good. It's a good event.
When was it? 05?
That was 04.
It's probably Johnny's second best track that he's ever built.
We get on to track building further down the line.
Is this when you won and you just dropped your bike at the top of the hill?
This is the moment I'm on about, Wobbs. That's the defining moment.
Do you know what I thought? The only thing that's like slightly upsetting about that moment is it wasn't captured on the camera. Like I'd literally come over, I did my little celebration, and then I got like just over emotional. And I'm just like, mate, I've just won this fucking thing. I'm like going to go up, and as I'm going up, they're thinking like, you know,
but there weren't no fans up there.
They just switched to like the battle for second. Meanwhile, I've literally went to the takeoff, and you know, I haven't even been like, I didn't rehearse it or anything. I'm just like in the moment.
Yeah.
Went up. Like turned it round, dropped my bike and gave it the big like on top of the triple, like with the sort of amphitheater and the fans like all below me, and like literally just was just like fucking
it was quality.
Threw my goggles away, but then the only sort of camera angle you get is like after I've like, and then the commentator's saying, and Billy's dropped the bike or like he's crashed or something. There's just like the penultimate moment.
We were watching, kid. We could see what went on.
I was there. I experienced it. It was all the same.
I was heading up to retrieve the goggles.
I think for me, that's probably what made it that little bit more special is the fact that it hasn't been documented.
Probably.
So for those that were there and to see you do it, and to set the whole tone, the weekend was awesome because it felt like going abroad. It was the British GP, that little ferry crossing.
A ferry, didn't you? Yeah.
Kind of made it cool. The weather was good. And then you went and done that, and it just... it just. And I think that also
ticked all the boxes. That's
it did tick all the boxes, but I think for you as well,
guy,
it also
just take it as English. Kid, that'd be good.
Yeah.
I don't know what the Scottish Championship will think about that. We've been promoting that this year. No, but as far as sort of just for the first time getting that start and running with them, and especially doing it on like the track was so cool. Like we'd all kind of.
It did flow nicely, didn't it?
Yeah, you know, and that it was just the perfect setting on the side of the hill. You know, we really were had our hearts in that one. Everyone that turned up, we were just like, this is going to work. This is going to be the best. Like, and it was a great effort. Yeah.
Was that? Thank you very much. Well, I was just a small part of it. But was that? Remind me, because honestly, I can't remember. Was that your first GP win as well?
No,
it was your second. No, not even that. Was it your second or third?
It wasn't even a Grand Prix win. It was a
race
moto win.
Sorry, moto win. Yeah.
But I think I'd done it already in Japan that year. I think I'd won my first race in Spain.
What is it with Japan? You always fucking win in Japan.
Mate, everyone asks that question.
Could you be any further away?
Everyone wants to know for like the 100th time.
Was it the track?
Why I won that race.
Or were you just busy trying to kiss ass?
It's not.
Is that what it was?
That too, mate. Like,
has to be a factor.
Look, I thought,
the big cheeses.
If there's somewhere to do it, I might as well do it in front of the bosses, right? I had factory contracts for the rest. I'm on a factory contract forever because of that. Kawasaki look after me every year. They just give me a little like. I was the first guy to ever win on the 450 machine. I was the first guy to win on the 450 for Kawasaki, but I'd won previously on the Yamaha, on the slugs, like those things that I was right. I'm telling you, I'm sorry, mate. I was against Caroli, Chiodi, Sordi. Yeah, I can say what I want. Like,
the penny's dropping.
I was like literally 80 kilograms. They were all about 65. So I was never getting off the start, and I was having to hustle that thing so hard the first opening laps. And like, luckily, I was just training like a beast, and that was my MO. Yeah. I would like hold that thing open until like I ran out of breath. And in Japan, like, to answer your question, Wobbs, the reason I won there, and this is the God's honest truth, is just because I woke up early. I was on like a different time scale. Okay. Like, I was still jet lagged, so I was waking up at like 2 or 3 in the morning. Like nothing.
It's like a supercross for you. It's like 9 p.m. races, yeah.
Because during the week, I was always playing like five-a-side footballs or out on my BMX or just doing something intensely exercise, like intensely physical at about 8 at night, 9 at night.
Yeah.
And then, like, we were doing an hour inside five-a-side football with a bunch of motocross loons. So, you know, it wasn't exactly football. It was just literally...
Violence.
Yes,
Violence
exactly.
With the ball, yeah.
So when it came to Japan...
I've seen him play football.
My type...
It's not...
Where?
You played football one time when you come down to our place, five-a-side. We had to politely ask him to because he was siding my mates left, right, and centre. He was far too aggressive to play five-a-side football. Bry was all right. His cousin was all right. It's a little bit tamed down version of him, but he was a nightmare.
we had
but not
to
only that,
stop.
he wasn't very skillful, so we turfed him off and he watched.
Yeah.
I think he went in the gym that night.
Is that really?
Anyway, so your football skills are not as good as your motocross skills.
No,
I
they
just wanna-
didn't. But like we got through it because when you're playing against other motocross riders, you, like literally, there's no rules. Like, and we were hitting it. We were in an enclosed space, so the ball was always bouncing back.
Yeah,
and as soon as at the feet, it was just getting like rocketed in the direction of the goal, and it would never really get in the back of the net, but it would bounce back, and someone else would hit it.
Good enough.
But that's the answer to your question. In Japan, basically, my time clock, because I was a bit jet lagged, I was waking up in the morning, 2 or 3. Wide awake, and then just sitting in my hotel room, like watching Lost or some kind of like TV show that I was into.
Watching Lost. Listen
Lost,
to you.
remember?
Fucking Pornhub, more like.
No, I wasn't porn at all. I was watching Lost.
Saving his energy, Wobbs.
The TV shows, just and then waiting for like McDonald's to open because that was the only food that I thought about eating. Like I wasn't.
Yeah, you don't want to get sick, do you?
Nah. So anyway, like that's honestly genuinely the reason why I think I dominated.
But then
in
you
Japan.
followed it on though, because you were like once
I know, but
once
it's
you've
the
done it
same
once,
thing.
so you kind of went there
Remember, I
thereafter.
asked you, Wobbs. I was like, listen, Wobbs, I was on Factory Kawasaki. I was like, I need yellow. I need something yellow because that's, I won in yellow the first year and then I used my yellow helmet the second year. I said, I'm all green this year. I said, you're going to have to give me something yellow.
Yeah.
So you got me the Smith goggles. And that was the only bit of yellow that I had in 07. And because it was a superstition of mine, I was just like,
Fucking
I
worked
ran
out,
with
kid.
it. So there was 3 things I had to do. One was lay down on the start because I'd done it the first year.
Yeah, saw that. Obviously,
It's
with your
quite
headphones on and all that kind of stuff. Photographers leaning over you like
The
they
second-
were literally like they were shooting into an open grave. It was
Yeah.
like,
The second one was I had to wear yellow, and the third one was I had to listen to the same tune, which was "Faithless" by Insomnia by Faithless.
What a track.
now that makes sense because you always bang on how much you love that track, but I've never
That was
known the
it.
backstory to
Yeah,
that.
no, that's it.
Oh,
Oh,
there you
that's
go.
quality.
So I had to listen to that in the Park Fermi, and just because the pattern that I won in 05, I was just like, well, I'm not going to change anything. I'm going to lay down and start. I'm going to listen to Insomnia, and I'm going to wear yellow. And it worked every time. And the fact that I brought Big Bill to the last one, it was like one of those things. I'm like, well,
you gotta-
how lucky do you get? Like,
gotta
I've won the
perform in
last two,
front
and
of
I'm
the
literally
old
in MX1 now.
Yeah.
I was like, Dad, if there's any chance I'm going to win a Grand Prix, it might be this one. So you're going to have to come
gonna have to
over.
come.
And then we had the Flower of Scotland teed up
remember
to
that.
play, and it played way too long because it was like some overextended
Oh,
version.
no.
It got proper awkward. I'm standing on top of the podium and like everyone's kind of waiting on this anthem, like picking up, but it's like those like
draining
long
on.
fucking bagpipes.
Oh, shit.
Except you and your dad. Your dad was probably as Big Bill as as big as
Mac
tough as
I
it is.
think, fucking cool.
Probably
How
trying
was he
to.
doing? Was he all right?
Yeah, he's brilliant. Yeah, I seen
Oh, we
seen
know
him last
that.
night.
I know he's brilliant. I just
Yeah,
how is he doing?
yeah, he's good. You've seen him last night. What was I chatting to him about? I don't really. We always chat like kind of business, like just make sure we're doing all right. You know what I mean? It's like he's not really involved with the race.
Hands
He's
like
not.
fucking shovels, your
Yeah,
dad.
he's a big old boy.
Was
God,
he,
if he
um,
slapped you, you'd stay slapped, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Fuck
like
it.
like even I think I'm pretty big and tough these days. I still got nothing for a Big Bill.
No.
I wouldn't even try. You
No,
know?
he would slap you silly and you wouldn't break a sweat, would he? Bless him?
Yeah,
he's
he's
doing good,
got
though.
a swing on him. Did he get emotional at any point throughout your career, particularly that moment, particularly with the Flower of Scotland playing on
I'll
and
tell
on?
you.
Was he starting to well up, thinking, "Get me off this podium"?
No, I'll
He
tell
don't
you.
He
strike
can't
me as
do
an
that.
emotional man.
I'll tell
Come
you.
on,
I'll tell
there
you a
must be
funny
a soft spot for
No, I'll
Big
tell you
Bill.
a funnier story. It's like that night when we all got Kawasaki were so fucking happy. They were like, "Come, we're going to take you for dinner. Like, come on, Big Bill." I think Steve Guttridge was there. So I'd stumped my toe because I'd like put it over the bars trying to do a triple like midway during the race in the second race. So I was like a bit hurt. I'd smashed my peak. I'd give myself a like slight concussion, and I'm on the podium hobbling around, and I was actually over it. It didn't feel like I'd won a Grand Prix at all. I was just like, I don't want to go to dinner. I want to like sulk in the room. And I'm like, no, let's go. So I'm like literally hobbling down the streets of Japan. I can't remember what city we're in, but we went and had dinner. And Steve Guttridge there, and Big Bill's there, and Big Bill's having a few drinks. And oh my God, he just turned pure Scottish and started telling all the Japanese technicians these long tales of the KX100 back in the day, but in like the most brutal Scottish accent. I couldn't even understand him. There was no way the Japanese were understanding him. And I'm sitting with Steve Guttridge I was cringing. I'm
Tell
like,
them
mate,
where
you're
they're going
embarrassing
wrong.
me,
You're
Dad.
doing it all wrong. You're doing it all
But
wrong.
like the Japanese were just so happy that I'd went and won on this new bike, and they were like
I-
loving Big Bill. It didn't matter what language he was speaking.
I did
They'd
the
be-
same with Suzuki guys. Remember the Nations in Colorado? I had a few too many beers and we were in some steakhouse, and I'm like, you know what you want to do? You want to put a 2-stroke engine in that piece of shit. I'm like, in the morning, I'm like, yeah, maybe that wasn't the best.
Do you know what? A half-cut big Scottish guy might be nearer to Japanese than English anyway.
Probably, mate.
You know, I mean, I don't speak Japanese that well.
I couldn't even
what do you mean
understand.
I don't speak Japanese. I don't speak Japanese
that well.
I'm just
I
saying.
don't speak Japanese.
I'm just saying, I
you know?
couldn't even understand some of the slang he was coming out with, but because he was that happy and had a little bit of
Good for
tickle
him.
in him, yeah, absolutely.
him.
It was like one of these best moments. He's literally at the head table with the Chiefs of Kawasaki. He's made my bike the fastest since I've been like 6 years old, and now we're at the top of the game in MX1 on the new bike. It was like, for all of us, it was a pinnacle sort of point.
Yeah, because the Team Green thing was a big thing to you guys back in the day, because he
It
was an
still
integral
is.
part of that and trying to develop youth motocross at the time. I remember your dad always banging on
Alex
about
Wright?
youth motocross.
Was he the boss back in the day?
Well, no, I think it was Steve Guttridge had just joined. Or no, what happened is it was Matt Bates. He was
he
the
was
Team Green coordinator for the youth
was.
stage. So I rode for him for a couple of years, but then he went somewhere else, and so we had to take over, me and my dad. So we were on a KX125, and basically we got the budget from Kawasaki. We had to go find all our own sponsors. So we went to the dirt bike show. We had a little folder with like printed off like everything,
nice.
and just put the shirts on, done a pro job. Scouted the dirt bike show, pulled in a few sponsors, and that was it. We were ready to go racing. We had an oil sponsor, we had graphics, we had plastics. We were like, that's all we need. We get the bikes of Kawasaki, spares budget, Big Bill's in charge. It's like we've got our gig going. But then Dixon got me, and so that's when Steve Guttridge came in, and like it was quite nice that we handed it over to Steve Guttridge at the time, and we said, listen, the next guy that's going to win is my little cousin, Bry. So you should put him on the green bike, and you'll have a good year. And then we went to Yamaha. So that's where Guttridge came in at that time. So that's why I got a wee thing going with Steve Guttridge. I'm like, give me a bike, Steve. When's that new Kawasaki?
I remember when Steve started there, because I thought, should I go for that job? And I'm thinking,
were you into
I'm
it?
not corporate enough for that.
Yeah, that's right.
Steve does a fucking mint job, and he knows.
Yeah, he's right.
He's right for the. He's good.
He took it by the reins.
He does a mega job.
He's the man. Eh? Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Now you've told me that, Wobbs, I just can't visualize that. I cannot see you.
Team Green.
Yeah, like Wobbs.
Like corporate.
Yeah,
Fuck, no.
I think you made the smart decision.
I think I need to be my own boss. When I was at Smith, I got on well because they were a pretty cool company. Like my boss, Mark Ferris, was the coolest fucker you ever worked for.
Right, nice. Yeah.
And he hired me and Denny Stevenson the same week. I mean,
fun, fun time.
Right, strap yourself in. This is gonna. So we had a good time. Well, you remember.
I wonder what his influence was that, or maybe it was obviously a good decision on his part. But
mate, I would do it again in a fucking heartbeat.
yeah, it was good times.
was good
I
times.
only jumped in on a few trips.
What year was that? When did you start, Smith?
03, 04, 05, full time in the States, and then another 7 or 8 years doing Europe, and then the big races in America. It's good. Done a lot of fucking tear-offs in my time, Ken.
Yeah. Hey, while we're talking tear-offs, how happy is everyone that Armour Vision's here? I mean,
That shit looks good.
it is, dude. Like, and I want to just say, because the guy who owns the company, he came up to me at Cullum and he was like, look, you need to try this. And I looked at him, I'm like, are you mental, mate?
Yeah,
I
piece
said,
of
you want
fucking
me
glass.
to line up without any tear-offs? I literally
And wipe
laughed
it with
in
your
his
hand.
face.
Yeah,
and he
you
wasn't
would.
used to it because, he was really...
He was, clever guy, but
what's
I
his
mean,
name?
I don't know.
Anyway,
He's done well with Mark. Mark's
Mark's took over.
Mark's took it over and
done the branding,
Yeah,
and I'm just,
exactly.
I'm so happy that people are catching on to it because tear-offs.
It looks
mate,
to work great.
I swear to God, dude. See when I watch some of the Grand Prix riders and the people lining up with like stacked laminates on, you can't see. You honestly can't fucking see through that thick glaze.
The problem is with the laminates is they're only made by one company, and the company is kind of Oakley's their biggest customer. Well, it's not. NASCAR's the biggest customer. They were originally made for the windscreen of NASCARs.
Yeah,
and then we got the technology, and there was laminates of 3 or 7. Oakley used to order up all the fucking 7s.
Like, that's cool and everything, and laminates did change the game, and they are still good. But I'm just saying, there's been multiple times when I raced a Grand Prix and got close to the front, near the front, or found a space, and I literally ran the whole race with 25 stacked tear-offs on, and then you come off the track and you take your goggles off and it's like,
you're fucking
I just
daylight.
did that blind.
Yeah, no,
like, what the
exactly.
hell's going on?
That's probably why you rode so well.
It's not
Couldn't see half the ruts, so you're just nailing them.
This
In
is where
fairness,
I honestly-
Michael Lacey used to have me put 2 stacks on the left side and the last stack on the right side. So he knew when he'd run out, he only had 7 left. And that was
all I'm saying, though.
You got to
is
make them last at that point.
This little smart film Armour Vision strip has changed
No,
the
that shit
game.
looks
Like
good, in fairness.
every time I go out practicing now, it's just such a nice feeling not to have the chore. Like you would know all too well of like clearing the goggles stack.
Well,
like you literally
we
put
were
it in the
try-
bag, you pull it straight back out.
we were trying to figure out, like laminates which were like biodegradable. And they were like looking through a fucking milk bottle.
No,
Terrible
yeah.
fucking things.
They're really
But we
bad.
developed, we made roll-offs. But fucking ball ache to work.
No, I'm serious, man. That's
The pain of being a goggle guy is all coming out, Wobbs. This is very much a...
I underestimated it. I thought it would be a piece of piss.
Yeah.
Because I went from being a mechanic to a goggle guy. And I'm like, fuck, how easy is this?
You know, we started this podcast so people could get stuff off their chest. I never imagined that Wobbs would be sat here.
I'll start getting emotional.
Getting the laminate situation off his chest.
Talking about your yellow goggles, one thing about goggles, Yamaha Troy, yellow, white and blue, white and blue, white and blue, head to toe. Fucking everything was colour coordinated. Fuck it, I stuck him in green.
Did you?
And after about 4 races, Phil Alderton came to me and goes, dude, no more green goggles. And I thought that was fucking cool looking because you could see him a mile away.
No, I honestly think that smart film, it's almost as good as the start device. I mean, the start device has been a little bit
that's
here
a
and
game
there
changer.
these days. It has been a game changer, but man, they're putting it too low and it's sticking on. I saw a crash at the weekend at the last round of the Scottish, like the front two going into the first corner and like there's like a crest and it just didn't release and then he's like got a front wheel high and they've just both went down at the start and he's picked the bike up and the fucking start device still locked in. And I'm just like,
it always makes me cringe, that little bit of plastic at the bottom of the fucking fork guard holding all that pressure.
Yeah, mine was ripped off
here
so
at
many
DocWob,
times.
we do make a bracket for that, a factory bracket that does that.
Mate, I'll tell you.
If I knew the eBay number, I'd tell you, but I don't.
They could have been good for me, obviously, with vertically challenged legs. Start device and blocks, didn't have any of them in those times. I had to have cut down seats and everything. Carmichael style.
I'll tell you a story, like brief story from the Scottish Championship with the start devices. Basically, second round of the Scottish last year, I won the first round, so I had a big lead, but Sean turned up Simpson, and I'm like, all right, here we go. Like, I've got competition now. And so we qualified 1-2, but on the Saturday, I was racing like an adult support class because it's kids and that, and my start device broke.
Oh.
So I had no way of fixing it. I'm in the middle of the field, like in like the west of Scotland. I'm like, shit, now Sean's here. How the hell am I going to get the start? So we went to the line, qualified 1-2, and Sean's like first. And so Willie Simpson's there and he's put his start device in and that. And like, they're proper team, those guys. Yeah. They went to start. I'm like kind of there by myself. So I was like, oh, Willie, can you put my start device in front of you? He's like, aye, sure. And he's went down to like put it in and it's just like a massive hole ripped out the fork device. And he was like, he went to do it. He looked up at me and I sort of just winked at him. I was like, I'm only joking, mate. But we went to the start line. That's what created this kind of like, rivalry between me and Sean that year is because I had to jump the gate. I'm thinking, how the fuck am I going to like get a whole shot? Like Sean's on the inside, but I was in.
And Sean's a good starter.
Of course, mate. He's a good rider. He's one of the best, best in Scotland. But I was in sync with the way that the gate was dropping. Like it was going on the same time every time. I was watching all these kids, and I'm like, I'm going to have to really focus. So I did. I just counted in my head. I was like, 1, 2, go. And I promise you, there's a video of it. I just got the top of it, and mate, I was in the first corner before anyone, and Sean's come in and collided with the guy who sponsors him, like gives him like the money, and he's literally cartwheeled, smashed his header pipe. He was out of the race.
Oh man!
They red flagged it, and like blamed it on some accident. So that was just like I started revving up. I'm like, listen, I was like, okay, I blatantly like jumped the gate, but I timed it. Like
you're not gonna do that twice.
I was like, if you're really gonna like do this to me and cancel races, then I'll start right next to the starter and I'll blatantly watch him pull the rope.
That's what you do. That's just experience. That's all that is.
But it was funny. Like I ripped the start device out.
So we're gonna get Sean to Foxhill.
And mate, like me and Sean need to like patch up a little bit because he was actually asked, bless him, by the SCCU to run the Scottish Championship this year. And I just felt entitled because I'd won the thing. And I'm just like, well, mate, come on. I'm not going to come and race your championship. Like, I beat you. Let's just get someone like in the middle so that we can both go and race like the kings we are. Like, we're the kings of Scotland. Who's going to win Grand Prix ever again from Scotland? Let's be honest. Well, there's a generation gap.
That's another conversation, kid.
Yeah, we'll get there, But so yeah, like Sean, like bless him, he's he works so hard and he travels so far and he's really dedicated. Like the Simpson family are like top notch. So he's busy, mate. And I did say to him, I was like, listen, mate, haven't you got enough on? You're gonna be racing, you're gonna be running a team. Why do you want to run the Scottish Championship as well? Like that, just come on. Like let's just go and race each other. But what happened this year? He crashed at the first round and I was basically focused on too much on him, and we've let John Amson run away with the win and get a big points lead. And I've been flapping around riding like a dickhead. So look, Sean's got a good gig, and he's going Grand Prix racing.
Grand Prix with Gilbert.
As soon as he's ready to accept that kind of vet status, like I have a little bit, mate,
we'll get in there.
You guys ain't gonna
He's
have
not far off,
You
is
guys
he?
ain't gonna have a chance when Sean gets on
Here
that
we
bike.
go. It's fighting talk.
Yeah,
Fighting
here we
talk.
go.
Yeah.
BMX on Foxtel, August bank holiday weekend.
This is it. Scotland is finally
Just
going to
calling
get
it. You're
a
calling it.
nation's win because we've not
Yeah,
been
no,
allowed.
like,
We've not been
dude,
allowed
with-
to enter a team.
Dude, with you and Sean, I wouldn't want to bet against it.
Exactly, man. And we've got a few follow-ups as well. If we can get Swordy stop
And there
eating
is some
donuts and cheesecake.
there is some more news coming on that as well, which I will tell you after.
Right,
Yeah,
brilliant.
tell us in a bit. While we're on the Scottish scene, that seems to be over the last couple of years from down south of the border, in the good old English side of the border. It seems to have sort of elevated
Bottle
a
opener,
bit.
kid. I'm offering
Yeah, it's
you a
because I'm
bottle.
racing it.
Yeah, that might be the reason why. I don't,
Listen, mate.
but it has.
That's why Sean turned up.
Yeah.
Because he knew that my name was about to be engraved on that old dusty trophy.
What I'm saying, we'll talk about the trophy in a minute. What we're saying, because you've actually got people like Conrad, for example. He's now starting.
Conrad knows what's up. He's got castles up there now.
Yeah, he's starting to. So tell us what's going on up there. I mean, you've got some great tracks. That I do know. You've got some brilliant tracks up there. Some great soil to work with. So what's the scene on it up there? Because it seems to be growing. I'll ask you this question. Should there be a round? I know you got the Scottish Championship with its own pride and joy. Should there be a round of the British Championship in Scotland every year?
You are opening a can of worms.
Good.
Here, man.
That's what I want to do.
Is this what you want to do?
No, I just want to get your opinion on that.
My opinion.
You don't have to dive into those worms
Nah, yeah, sorry.
and start.
Now, listen, I was having fun.
But he
this-
will.
Yeah, of course. I was having fun this year, just basically baiting the English Championship not coming to Scotland.
Yeah.
Conrad's the English champion. Sorry, Conrad. I know you're fast, mate, and we really appreciate you coming up and riding the Scottish Championship. But we are the official British Championship this year, so we could John, bless him, little John Amson, focused, dedicated little kid. Bit mad with his style and riding sometimes, probably in too low a gear quite a lot of the time. But he turned up like I did last year. He was at the first round. Conrad wasn't. Conrad did have the speed and is the fastest guy. However, John was there and he clinched the championship on Sunday.
Oh.
It was on Sunday at Clayshant. So you could call John the British champion. John Adamson's the British champion this year because the British didn't come to Scotland and we're fucking sick of it, boys. We're sick of it. We don't need to travel to England anymore. I have captured the north east and the northwest. We've got Brad Anderson and Carlton Husband protecting yous from invading if you ever decide. You're welcome to come up and enjoy our tracks, and you could probably take home
Where's
a few
this
quid.
going? This is going a bit off piece.
No, it's
here.
great. It's great. I'm starting to wonder if it was him that cut that tree down.
Oh, I know, dude.
Who
How
the
bad
fuck
was
was
that?
that, man?
Well, I
That's
had to
dedication. That's being a twat for a whole different level. That's really taking twattism
Now listen,
to a
look,
whole
you
different...
guys have to come. You have to give back a little bit. Me, Sean, all the Scottish guys, we have been traveling south forever. It's treacherous drive. As soon as you cross, I think it's the Carlisle area.
Yeah.
It's dire, mate.
Yeah,
Sorry,
It's a bit fucking bleak.
No. It's traffic everywhere. I don't want to be around it. It's constant. And I've lived in Portsmouth. I've lived in Derby. I've been and done it all. You all need to come and visit Scotland.
Doing that bottle opener, kid. You're going to crack another
Is that
one?
what it is?
I think
what it is.
I think that's answered that question. That maybe the British Championship should look to have a round in Scotland.
I don't know,
Mate, you should have
You
two
should have one
rounds.
in Northern Ireland as well. If it's British, it's
And
British.
Wales.
They got one at Monster
I
Mountain,
agree.
haven't they?
I agree.
Mate, I'm not keen on. I've not been there. I can't comment.
I've never been there. I can't comment.
doesn't
It
look
looks a
very-
bit bleak
I like
from
the
the
fact that
pictures, if I've got to be honest.
Mate, it's about as good as Motorway Basin. I mean, Matterley Basin.
Billy's diplomacy. I love Billy's diplomacy and how he sits on the fence.
Watch him trying to open that.
So much. Right, yeah, let's watch you trying
Fucking
now.
hell.
Obviously, for those of you that are listening on Spotify or Apple, you're not.
It worked, but it ain't supposed to.
I tell you what, he's got bloody good at them. That's probably opening bottles. I should imagine that's life in Australia.
That is exactly like in
Exactly.
Australia,
Australia.
mate. And
That's another-
hey, these are no good for me, mate. My hands start to get some weird skin condition and stuff. It's like drinking bread, and I'm not that good with.
Give us that. So for those of you that are watching, you probably didn't see that anyway because it's below the camera angle. For those of you listening, Wobbs has got a clutch lever bottle opener, and Billy.
Universal made those,
Universal,
and
but
they
he
made them
didn't-
wrong, so they made them into a bottle opener. So instead
So
of
you
throwing
go
them away.
you actually go at that, but Billy opened it the old classic lighter
Why
thumb
is he
technique
didn't-
way.
why is he didn't open it with his fucking teeth?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would never do that. Like,
I did that and busted.
cringe.
Fucking
I cringe when I
hurts,
see people do that. I'm like, that's not cool,
No,
guys.
that will
Don't
fuck
do
you
that. No, don't do that.
man. So that brings us to Australia.
Yeah, Australia. Yeah.
guys.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Should we go
Bit of
back to a
time
bit
there.
of career? I mean, we're talking Billy.
You can.
I mean, I remember him.
Go
Dix,
back to the
talk about
very
what you
start.
want.
I'll
We're
tell you
talking
what.
Dixon Yamaha.
All right, yeah.
We're talking.
Even
What was that
before
race?
that.
What was that race near Tamworth where it was like you and
Hold
Sordy
on.
for the championship?
Oh,
Hold
yeah,
on.
you can bring that up. It's
No,
not the
I
best
wanna-
memory,
I'm
but I'll
sure
talk
that was a
about
bit
it.
fucking sore.
Let him think about that for a minute. I want to go back further because as much as I've known you, I have never asked you how the whole gig started. Actually, I never know. Even pass me that Moto magazine over there, will you? Well, I'd rather not. But I don't know how it actually started.
What do you mean how it started?
Oh, how it
I
started?
started racing?
Yeah, what was the interest?
I mean, that's I'm
No,
probably...
was it Big Bill or not?
No, it had nothing to do with it. He was like, "You're not getting a bike." I was like, "Dad,
So where
Dad,
did it
I want
come from?
Dad, I want a motorbike." He's like, "No, like you're mental.
so where did
You're
that
5
come
years
from?
old." So the story is, I was hanging around with a kid in my local village called Daryl, just a childhood pal, and he told me he was getting a motorbike for Christmas because his dad used to ride trails bikes. So I'm like,
Fucking.
wait a minute, I want a motorbike too.
Yeah.
Just being a
As
bratty
you
little
do.
kid, I'm like, you can't. What's a motorbike? So I think he showed me. Well, I'm back asking my mum and dad, can I get a motorbike? And they're like, don't be stupid. My dad was just like, you just. I'm like, I just kept begging and begging. Eventually, my mum sort of talked him round, and I got a Malaguti 50.
Nice.
Went up the field. We learned how to ride down the beach and all that.
So was you the catalyst for the rest of the family?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So then Bry,
yeah,
Dino,
Dean, Stevie, yeah, the whole Mackenzies. We all just started,
And Big Bill.
I missed such an opportunity with Stevie.
no interest.
My little
They
brother.
I could have took some money off him at the Nations at Budge Creek because he said to me, "Who's going to win?" And I said, "Philippa."
Yeah.
And I could have took some money off him, and it didn't even occur to me.
I had to
I
pay
could have
his
fucking-
debt to Tom Fuller recently when I got my helmet sprayed because he bumped him for like 250 quid because Tom didn't do his helmet in time. So he only gave him like half the money, and then so I'm asking Tom, I'm like, "Hey mate, can I get a helmet?" He's like, and he was always a bit like catty with me. I'm like, "Just get me a bloody helmet, Tom." You know what I mean? I know you're a busy man, but. And then when he gave me the price, I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, well, your brother like bumped me." I'm like, "Well, I'll find out about this." So I text Stevie. I'm like, "Did you not fucking pay Image Design?" He's like, "Yeah, it was because he like had my helmet for like a year." And I'm like, "Oh well, fuck." So anyway, I had to pay.
Tom's
his
going to
debt.
come on. Tom's going to come on. He's
Yeah,
got
good.
some stuff. We're going to have a proper motor reunion. We need to get Matt Allard
Oh,
on.
loads, yeah. The whole team on. Did
Blissy.
Did Stevie bump you regularly then, or not? Is that something that
He would always steal my clothes, like my hat. Like sometimes he would come out his bedroom with my cap on, and I'd just wrestle and fight him. And then my dad would be like, "Use our mental, like get out my sight," and he'd batter both of us.
See, I always thought that Stevie was the side of you that you would never show.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Well, the sensitive side.
Yeah.
Just the sort of more relaxed side during your, because let's be honest, when you were young, you were
Tell
quite,
me,
you were
how was I?
Well,
How
you
was
were,
I, Jeff?
you were
Ma-
quite direct and quite aggressive.
Really?
A little bit intimidating.
The
even
word
for a young, even for a-
psychopath
do you know
did
the,
come into...
yeah.
You
you
were
serious?
intense.
A
I
little
think
bit.
intense
Like
is
the
a good
first
word.
time we spent any real time is when I come up to do that photo shoot at Archerfield, I think.
What year was that?
99. And you were, yeah.
That was cool though. Eh?
Yeah, that was really cool.
What was I like then? I was 15.
You were 15. You were definitely cocksure. I was
Really?
thinking that kid's
Do you know
not
why,
shy.
dude?
You know,
like I was having this
you
conversation.
were basically telling me straight away what I was fucking doing wrong.
Oh, right.
In an instant.
Oh, what, riding wise? So basically telling you how to ride, or just
Not
did I know
how to ride,
everything at the
just
time?
basically how to sort of, not just the riding, more sort of like
This is fun.
like character and how I should sort of you should tell them more how it is. You're in a position to do so. You know, you're racing
15
GPs.
Ain't that easy,
I was
is
like,
it?
well, I'd rather not get caught up in all that,
Look, I
Bill,
think-
but anyway, okay, I'll take
I
it
think
on
maybe
board.
the reason I was cocksure, as you put it, is I was hanging around with a lot of older like guys. We were down Archfield,
Yeah.
and my friend group was like 6 to 7 years older than me, and I was growing up fast. I could ride those bikes. I was winning everything.
They were 67 years older than you.
Yeah, like my whole friend group. I had Stuart Flocker, you know, Keith Amor, like, and
Keithy.
you know, like
Wow.
legit dudes that could ride, drive, like do sports, had that kind of race IQ type of mentality, and to keep up with them,
It's hard,
to play
that age.
football
It's a
against
big fucking
them.
difference when you're that
We
age.
had five-a-sides, you know what I mean? And I was in that five-a-side, like I was the youngest
No more
guy.
football talk. I'm bored of football.
No,
talk.
but I'm
Fuck
just
that.
saying the intensity.
I'm sick and tired. I've watched that Beckham documentary on fucking football.
It's not football though. This is motocross football in a cube, but it's a different game
Let's not
altogether.
talk about football.
Right,
There's a whole new sport there, motocross football.
But yeah, look, I was doing like a lot of cars. I was in a lot of fast cars with a lot of fast drivers, doing a lot of dangerous shit.
Yes.
And I was 15, and you know, like
There is something about Scottish people driving fast.
you were all
One of my
crazy.
first jobs, Tony Craig. That boy scared the
Tony Craig.
shit out
He's
of
on the trophy. I saw his name
Tony
on the
Craig.
Donald Sinclair Memorial Trophy
He was
when it was
fast.
littered around my
Fast
house.
as fuck is the best way I could describe
Yeah,
that
really?
boy. Oh,
Because he's similar to Tony Craig, who's like the riders. And I was just like...
Tony Craig was...
Craig, right.
Fast.
What did he ride?
When I was with him in Mako, but before me, he was on a Honda.
Okay.
He did well on a Honda.
What
He
year?
struggled with the Mako. I worked with him in 85, 86.
Right.
I mean,
he's on the trophy around that time.
Yeah, no, he was fucking fast. And, he used to live in... I can't even remember. Fucking Mars. Scotland. I lived in Scotland for a bit.
Back to Scotland. Like, listen, the hills are alive with the sound of motocross.
Yeah,
It's ready to be explored. And
Castle Douglas. That's where I live. Castle Douglas.
Right, cool.
Go through it on the way to Stranraer.
Yeah, well, I was there on the weekend. Like, literally drove down the coast. But all I'm saying is, I've been south of the border, south of the equator, all the way to the other side of Australia, and I have not even explored my own back garden until I raced the Scottish Championship last year. And
That must be cool though to come back and do that.
Scotland's fucking beautiful.
I had the best time just getting back racing last year. And I was telling you in the car, it was like literally the only reason I really started was just to show my new girlfriend, like what I used to do. She had no idea. And I'm sort of like explaining to her, I was like, well, I was once pretty good at like
this,
motocross.
Scrambling.
Not raced in a while.
And she
but
was like,
I've got this old
Whatever.
vintage bike. And she never saw me ride the 500 ever. She just saw it in the back of my van when I'd go and like see her in Glasgow. And it was like, and then I
You
sold
leave your
it.
bike in the van, go to Glasgow. Fucking brave kid.
Well, yeah, who's going to steal it? Like,
Every fucker.
they'd have to deal with me.
They'd be wheeling
Steal my
down
bike
it.
off
They'd
me.
be wheeling
So
down
at
the
what
street.
point with your girlfriend did you actually tell her regarding your history, your background? How soon into did you try to
Nah,
push
listen,
her away
man.
from that because you wasn't
was
weren't
pretty-
riding at the time, were you? You wasn't doing too much
but
riding.
my Tinder profile was pretty obvious, you know. I had those the best shots up there, you know, and that's basically 'cause she was into her.
From that magazine?
Well, no, I had shots from like Donington 2008 with my zebra
funny.
gear number 1 on. You know, I'm just
nice.
like, yeah, I ride bikes, you know.
Yeah,
so
that's what
whatever.
we did.
She's really on it with photography, so she saw like the classiness of the shots and the way I put my Tinder profile together, and we matched.
Exactly.
But we actually talked for years before we actually got into it. But,
That's cool.
But that's how it started.
Is she
yeah.
sold now? Has she seen proof in the pudding that you were a big thing?
It's
You were a big player back in the
He
day.
was a
once.
big name. I'm somewhat of a big deal, don't you know?
Thanks, man. No, it was nice just to clinch that championship last year because I went in not planning on like nothing. I just wanted to put my helmet on and ride my bike because I like the therapy of riding my bike. I like racing more because I've got it in me. Like when the gate drops, I've still got that instinct and that first lap speed where it's just a natural thing, you know. And so while I can still do that, I enjoy doing it, and it kind of releases all the endorphins and everything that I want from doing it. So that was the main reason why I started. And
we were just talking coming in the car on the way.
Was that the last beer?
Sorry, have I just opened the last beer?
Fuck's sake.
Sorry, man. You have to go and get some more.
I'm gonna go
Robs.
and get
Can we get another beer over here, please?
I knew this would flow good. The conversation
Is
and
it?
the
Yeah,
beer.
it's
Yeah,
all right.
absolutely. We were talking in the car just coming in then about what you just said, how you're now like just having fun with it and going back in the day when you used to like have not pressures, but
I was obsessed with it, man.
obsessed with that. But now how you're doing it for yourself, and that's a big difference between being who you are and a factory rider. You can whatever, if you're feeling it, you're feeling it. If you don't, as long as when you go to bed at night and you brush your teeth and you look in the mirror, as long as you're happy with what you've done.
Yeah, totally. But if I could have adopted that same attitude when I was a factory rider,
We can never can though. How can that's experience?
but that's where Japan, I think, because I was there by myself, just on a little trip. You know, I had to go do a race in Japan. Like no one else is coming over, is it? It's just me and my mechanic and a bike. And there's no nothing around. There's no big rigs. There's no nothing. Like we're all just there. You know, like a practice day almost, you know?
Here's a question
I was so
for you.
relaxed. I was so just like in tune. Everything was just like the bike was working. I was just like, wow, this is easy.
With that in mind, in hindsight, which is a wonderful thing, now looking back at Japan, do you reckon that kind of vibe that you had there was subconsciously part of your decision to go and race in Australia? You know, because you had that,
Subconsciously, possibly.
yeah. You know, just so you could be your own guy a bit more. You were still a factory rider in Australia, but you had that whole sense of adventure because you always had that in you. That was that.
Yeah, no,
I
it
could
was,
tell
yeah.
that early on. You wanted to get out and see the world and do things. That was evident, and actually, probably the first time we met.
I remember we were at
after you
TGI
lectured
Friday.
me. After you lectured me about how I should do more, you went on to then sort of
can't remember having that conversation,
basically
honestly.
saying about like, you know, how the world's a big place and you want to see it. You was always creative at school with your art and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
like
you've
I was
always
a
had
bit geeky.
that about you. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but to be honest, the primary reason why I decided I wanted to go and see and do other things was like my ex-girlfriend went and done a gap year and travelled, and I just didn't even know that was a real thing. I was just stuck at motocross tracks every weekend. Like
I know people think you travel a lot, but you don't. You travel to the same
see
places
nothing.
over and over
Dusty
again.
tracks
You stand
and
in a
rental
field.
cars, you know
it's
what I
like
mean?
you
You
think,
see
oh, I've
nothing.
travelled the world. You look at the map, you're like, no, why fuck? You haven't travelled very much at all, really.
But onto the Australia thing, if you want to know the actual like stepping stones that made that decision over there.
Yeah,
is-
why did you go to Australia, not America? Like everybody goes to America, everybody goes there, but Australia just didn't see it coming. You were a factory rider.
Yeah, like there's loads of reasons behind it, but I guess America, it was never really my thing. Honestly, I looked at the Supercross, I'm like, I don't think I can do that. Like at the level they're doing it, and I'm like, I'm not gonna hurt myself or embarrass myself. And like, it's not a dream that I want to chase. I didn't really ever have any dreams of becoming world champions or anything. I just enjoyed getting to the race and doing my best. It's like I didn't really have that like, I want to be world champion.
Don't you want to be world
What,
champion?
Never ever thought about it.
Even when you was in it.
Look,
You know,
I might have said it. It might have rolled off my
Even
tongue.
when
but
you was a contender.
like there was one time in 08 where I started the year off with Cass and I was on Josh's old bike and
Yeah.
it was ripping fucking
You were
hot.
riding that well, in fairness.
And I got second at the first Grand Prix at Valkenswaard. And then we went to France and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to fucking
not
have
fucking
a shot
having
at
this,
this.
yeah.
Yeah, because I was British chat. Like there was all, I'm having a fucking shot at this. And I remember St. John Angeli, there was like a little step down at the back and we were coming out this left-hander and having to like literally like, you couldn't see the rut, or it was that quick coming out to step down, and I basically just lit it up and got cross-rutted, and I literally splattered myself going down that hill. It was like it's the last hill before you come back up under the bridge.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do,
So
yeah.
you come out that corner and you have to launch it, and it was a qualifying lap. So if you don't get this step down, you're not going to get the time. It's the key point in the lap. You have to get it.
Yeah.
And I just didn't get it. I got cross-rutted or something happened, and I ended up hurting my shoulder blade or something, and I couldn't ride that day. And that's when I was like in the back of my camper, like locked the door, was like wanting to punch fuck out the walls. Like I was raging. I'm like,
Yeah.
I've just messed this up. I like my world, but it was that. I guess that weird intensity that I got into. That's like I was like, shit, I shouldn't have really.
So early as well in the championship. You were already like,
Yeah, but that's the way I was always like,
well, yeah.
like when I was rocking up at British Championships, there was only one thing on my mind: I'm going to win. And it didn't matter. I wasn't thinking about the championship. I was just like, I'm just going to dominate every fucking race. That bike's that fast. Like I remember at the start,
I'm laughing
I
because
got every hole shot. I led every lap. I won every race, and I like for six.
What bike are we talking about now?
The
What
Honda
year is this?
08.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
08 Honda with the Carby and
No,
Leo
you've heard
Vince.
that too.
And so I was going so well on that thing, and then I ended up messing up at Czech Locket. I ended up going over the bars and doing my hip, so I missed a round at Desert Martin. Otherwise, I would have had an undefeated season probably.
Why we
'Cause
don't race at Desert Martin no more? It's a beautiful track.
it used to be. It got a bit fast for me when I hit 450s. Like when I was racing Swordy around that track on a 125, we could keep those things lit, and the heart rate that we had to keep up, like it. And then over the course of the years, it did start to just fade away a little bit. It didn't have that.
Wasn't there some problems with locals? I remember there was some.
yeah, it's been
pro-
closed
They're
down.
always-
Right.
they're always
They're on
is.
about bringing it back, or they're trying to work out to
I
bring it
remember I
back.
saw like a video, like a slow motion video of Talon Leoc coming over there on a Cowie 450, and the flex in the forks. I was just like, fucking,
It's so fast.
unbelievable, man.
And it's got like a hard base, and I've had some massive crashes around there. I remember going out the back, I was on the 250 and basically thought I could hit anything wide open. I had that kind of James Stewart type thing where I'm just like, you go out the back along the long straight and like it sort of cambers right, and in the inside line they just got.
Fuck, I've never been out that
honestly,
far. Like,
sorry, this
I've
has
stood-
taken me right back to my career-ending injury. Because pretty much my career ended at Desert Martin. Yeah, through that very section that you just said.
So I did that.
Yeah, I ended
And
up
I
landing coming
smashed
down on
my
a post.
fucking
Yeah.
head, and I cracked all my teeth. Like I was pulling like bits of teeth, and I messed up. I lost the lead in the championship that day, and I was actually playing possum because there was a race cancelled or red flagged the race before that one, and I was spitting fucking teeth. I'm like, but
Literally.
no, that was the next one. I was like, no, mate, why'd you cancel it? Like I was leading, I'm like, some idiot's fucking crash. Who cares? Like pull him off the track, So they cancelled the race, and then I'm like, right, restart, and I'm like, right, I'm going for it, and then had that massive one. And I think the bike was broke or something. So I started playing possum and pretending I was like really injured. So they stopped the race and they didn't. And I lost a load of points. It was daft.
I had that when I was with Merv Anstey, and it was not Cullum. Where was that track there? The 125 Grand Prix. Alan Morrison did good.
Kill. Oh, that was what?
No,
that was in Scotland.
Cheshire Way.
Oh, Hatherton.
No,
Hatherton. There's a British Championship at Hatherton. And Merv had crashed off the start. Wasn't bad. And it fucked it up, obviously, out of a crash. And there's this young marshal there, stood there shitting himself. And I'm shouting in his ear, well, red flag, red flag. And he bust the red flag out, so we had a second chance at it.
Yeah, well, that shit happens.
Confession. What was that? Quite a confession you just thrown out there.
Sorry, ACU.
This should be confession.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say what I like about these podcasts is actually how they also work for me, how they reminisce. Because I can remember all of that, and it just takes you right back there. I can remember the whole incident you just spoke about. Yeah, no, your incident. I can remember that day. I can remember you being animated. I can also remember, we're going to touch on it because we nearly did a little while, and I dragged us away from it for a bit. Your rivalry that particular year when you was going for the title with Swordy. Now, at the time, in the industry, in the UK industry,
you were one or the other. You didn't.
It was. There was no middle ground. Anybody that sat on the fence at that point would be told, no, you can't sit on the fence. You are literally one or the other. Let's go back to the relationship. You mentioned Swordy earlier on.
Yeah, we're at Desert Martin, weren't we?
Yeah, we were
racing Swordy
talking about that. So let's talk about that and the relationship with Swordy, because as we said at the time,
what year was this? What year was this? We're talking.
Oh, now you're testing me.
Mate,
03, 02?
Yeah,
no,
it started earlier than that, man.
Yeah. But when was that final round of the British Championship?
2002.
2002. Was you either Billy Mac fan or you're a Swordy fan? There was no middle ground. There was no. You were either one or the other. And to be honest, I didn't really fucking care who won. But I think it was cool because there was a lot of rivalry, and I like a bit of that.
There's tension leading into the last race. I was in the Billy camp because I was.
This is when British Championships meant something. Yeah, no disrespect. They're not the same, are they?
You know, and was it me? Was I creating that? Was it the fact that I was taking the bad guy role and like?
You were the bad guy. You were the bad guy.
But I liked it. You know, I couldn't be the good guy. Swordy was clearly the good guy. So I'm like, I'm not going to act like him, am I? I'm going to act completely different because then they'll be like.
They made for a good race, man.
Yeah, didn't it? But that was all season long, and you know, fair play to him. Like I was, you know.
So hold on, going back just before we get into that. So was you playing that part, or was that the real you, or was it somewhere in the middle?
It was somewhere in the middle. Like I enjoyed the attention it created, or you know, I enjoyed the rivalry, and you know, I was getting influenced by people around me. You know,
we had that conversation.
Yeah,
I really wish I recorded the drive down.
No, I don't want to throw too many people under the bus. But listen, I first started racing Swordy when I was 15 at under 21s in Armthorpe, and it was the first time I beat him. I was on a Yamaha. I'd come straight out of schoolboys. I was the new kid on the block. Swordy was on MJ Church doing quite well, trying to get British Championship points. And I was the shit hot flash kid that had come off the 100 and was just, you know, no, I was like, I'd had a good year. So anyway, got to Armthorpe under 21s, and it was the first time I smoked everyone. I won all 3 races by about 15 seconds, like on a Dixon Yamaha. The thing was flying. Kawasaki's couldn't keep up. I was riding well. And that was you know, and Swordy fair play, like patted me on the back, and I was like quite like cool. I was like, because I used to look up to Stephen when we were at the schoolboy level. I'm like,
what was your relationship like with him to that point?
I never talked to him. He was always down south. He was in the Marshfield Massive. You know, I was up north. There was just like.
And there wasn't this pride of Scotland thing, being the best Scottish rider or anything that ever entered your head?
No, he was just like, we were at the front, so I wanted to beat him. It wasn't because he was from
just
Scotland.
Just another rival.
I just wanted to
Scotland.
win. I was bred to win, and I had it in me, and that's what I like to do. I like to get to the front and go as fast as I can and win those races. I liked winning, you know? And I was so used to it in schoolboys because Big Bill had my bikes like perfect every time. I was getting these whole shots. I was like confident. I was winning everything. Like I was having dominant years, and you know, I was watching Terra Firma videos. I was in the zone, mate, going to the dirt bike show. It was my life. I was telling my teachers, I'm going to be a pro motocross racer. You can't tell me what to do, since I was like 12 years old, you know? So like, it was just in me, and some people didn't like that. Like, oh, you're too cocky, or your ego. Like, I'm just like, I don't care what you
have to
think,
be confident.
I don't even know what ego means. I'm 15.
How do you not be confident and want to be a champion? It's not possible.
Exactly. So like, with the Swordy thing, he was fast, and I didn't like it because I was used to winning by a fucking mile. And then Swordy's like started beating me here and there, and like he's obviously got the bit in between his teeth, and it started to be like what it was, and it was good for the industry, wasn't it?
Yeah.
we
what
were
an
the
ever.
main show. Yeah, it's so good to hear you guys say
Absolutely.
that.
I'm not sure I can remember. Well, since then,
It came to the last corner. Like it's almost like I'm like writing the narrative sometimes.
The last rivalry before that, before your time, was Mark Banks and Alan Morrison.
Yeah, is that right?
But I
No,
don't
but not the same as that, because that did
that
come
was
down to the
needle.
last
That
corner.
was really
and
good.
listen, you were living the moment, so I'm going to tell you something now that you'd have heard many people talk about that moment. Here's my recollection of that moment.
Okay.
You're in it.
Yep.
I was your teammate. I crashed in the opening moto and ended up, because Polesworth had these kind of boulders. It was like a Canadian riverbed, like a dry. It was horrendous. I crashed in the opening moto on a first corner crash. That's when I was riding the
four-stroke.
The four-stroke. Landed on what seemed to be like a giant turtle, and basically really bruised my hip. Thought I'd broken it anyway. I sat out the final moto, so I got to watch this epic thing, right?
was good.
It's like a showdown.
And obviously I'm rooting for you because you're my teammate at the time, whatever. And honestly, like the whole crescendo on the last lap, I've never been at a British Championship before or since that had that level of excitement, anticipation going into a race. And when that all happened on that last corner, and it was a Suto, wasn't it? It was a Suto, wasn't it?
Back, yeah.
Yeah. He dived up the inside of you. And
because the way the
I've
track-
never heard a amount of people, the Swordy fans, cheer in a moment, other than the Motocross of Nations or something like that, when a nation wins.
Yeah.
The place erupted. The Swordy camp, if you're in the Swordy camp, they went mental.
It was a massive divide in like support, though. Even to the magazines, there was magazines choosing sides. That's why I was getting pissed off with who was writing about Swordy and who wasn't given. Like I was really into. I was like obsessed with it all because I liked seeing my pictures. I was like, I liked seeing the reports and people appreciating like the level that I'm like going out there and putting it down at. So like I was so sucked in by it all. It gave me all this amplification. If someone wrote something bad about me, if someone said this, I'm just like, But back to the actual race, I remember it was last lap stuff. And
it was last lap, last round.
We disappear over the back. So the fans can see us disappear into the distance. Now I'm racing the mixed race in the last race against the 250s, and I know I've got to beat this guy in front of me, this Japanese rider. I was already a bit anti-Cass Honda because I don't know, I felt they were supporting Honda. Like I was really just had a chip on my shoulder about everyone. You know what I mean? I'm like, you're either on my side or you're not. So anyway, dude, what happened in the actual race? Like I've went like through the chicane and out the back as we dropped down the hill. There was this short tabletop with like quite a peak takeoff, and
who's this?
Yoshi's in front of me on a 250 Cass Honda, and I'm on the 125 just wringing the neck out of it, knowing that I have to pass this guy to get the championship. So I've hit this tabletop and it's out the back, and I've flat landed it by about 6 to 7 meters and landed like right in front of Yoshi, and then just went like over on him. And I could hear him the whole way behind me.
Oh, that boy could
there was
swear.
Some big hills.
That boy could swear mine.
He's not slow.
Oh, sorry.
And I am trying to protect every inside line. I'm just like, look, I just need to get this home. And I was doing my best. And it literally came down to the last corner. I protected the inside as I was coming out. I'm sure there's video footage. I watched it over a few times. I've just hit a rock and it's kicked me out. And I've landed just slightly offline in the sort of like dusty, sandy bit, and it's just bogged the bike down. And he's ripped around the outside in a perfect berm and just got up the inside of me. Even then, I've tried to like cut over and cross over him, but there was like a big post like right kind of in the way because I was just going to like launch into him and like just punt him out of the way just to get to the finish line. And when I realized I couldn't do it, and you're right, the crescendo and like the big amplification of everyone going. I just looked up and I realized what had happened, and I just fucking dropped my head, I dropped my arms, I dropped the bike, I just fell off, and I'm just like,
I felt
fuck this.
I felt for you that moment. I felt for you.
Thanks, man. The first guy to come and pick me back up was Roy Higgs, man. That man, Jason Higgs' dad, you know the madman. He was running around that track, cheering me on.
He was probably 2 foot away from you, but
mate,
at any point.
And he picked me up, bless him, and he's like, "Don't show them." He was like, "Don't show them here." He goes, "Get back to the van. Don't show them like the emotion I was going through." Because I'm just like, mate, I was going through loads of shit that year. I'm pretty sure I was having trouble with my girlfriend. There was all kinds of weird like teenage.
Oh, the pressure was building.
I had it all going on.
Yeah, listen,
I was living here, there, and everywhere. I was just like, I was just into it. Like I knew nothing else. I was just like, this is my show. I'm running my own life here. You know,
having been a small part of it, being part of the team, so I was in that kind of inner circle, and you could feel the pressure building within the team as the championship went on. As much as Steve and everybody around you tried to keep you calm, it was almost like that classic, like you knew a storm was coming. Everybody knew it. It knew it was going to happen. As for Roy was probably circulating that circuit quicker than the pair of them.
He was having faster lap times than anyone on the track.
So I'm surprised he didn't run it in on you.
Fences.
Yeah, but, I just remember him being the first guy to come in. Like he literally like picked me up off the ground and he like hugged me. He's like, "Don't show them here, mate. Just like get back to the van." And I had to like sort of ride past Stephen and like all his crew, like fucking patting him on the back and all cheering. And I had to be humble and be like fair play. I offered some kind of like handshake or like just thumbs up or whatever. But really, I was gutted and I'm just like. I just went back to the van and I went and hid under it, and like everyone was coming to see how it was, and I just didn't want to see anyone. And my dad was kind of just stood in the awning while I was crawled under, hiding under the van, just getting away from it all. I'm just like, fuck this.
I remember that. I mean, like Stephen's the coolest guy in the world. You know what I mean? I was chuffed for him, but I all felt bad for you as well.
Nah, but that's
somebody was going to win.
Of course,
and that's just the way it was.
But you know what, mate? Let's get this straight right now.
Oh fuck! Here we go.
Good. Hold on to something, Wob.
I'm a bit nervous. I can feel
Stephen, are you listening, mate? we finished on equal points.
Oh,
so
that's right.
Fuck, that's my championship. I'm claiming it, right? 125 national British champion, equal points, whatever. He won more races. That was it.
Okay.
So I'm claiming it.
Fair play.
No, but then, you know what pisses me off, mate? And then you know what pissed me off more in the proceedings after that race was, you know what I mean? It was all about Stephen. It was nothing about me. Like, British champion was Stephen. It was Swordy.
But that's what
I didn't get a fucking mention.
That's what we're saying about
it was equal points.
Like, British Championship was...
It was
I'm not saying it's not a big thing
points.
now, but... I mean, who is the MX2 British champion? I don't fucking know.
Why have you gone? Why are you looking at me and put me on the spot with
Is that bad?
No,
I can't believe I can't answer that right now. Why have you gone and done that?
No, but it's not that big a deal anymore.
You've got a massive
You were
thing not to know.
Sherbis, you Bridgestone, you South Glamorgan champion. I don't fucking know who's champion.
Was it Isaac Gifton?
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
it
you.
is. Sorry.
Thank you for digging us both out of the hole.
Sorry, yeah,
Listen,
you rode very
Mate,
well.
see, I don't even know that kid. I've not watched any of them race. Like the last MX2 rider that I was sort of like semi cheering for was Bobby Bruce, because I was sort of in with Craig and I'd been around him. I know his dad.
Fast.
Fucking right. Yeah.
I love the attitude. It reminds me of you a little bit.
Yeah, well, we talked
He
about
don't give
Bobby.
a fuck, and I like that. But then again,
he does give a fuck. We all give a fuck. But yeah, like he knows what he wants to do. He knows what he has to do, and he's committed, and he can ride the bike fast. He reminds me a little bit of
is
Nunny.
he riding for Dixon next year?
Yes, I think that's
Oh, we're not supposed to say that.
I think I can say this.
Too late. We can always edit that out.
Look, Bobby's got the opportunity to go and race Grand Prix, and you know what,
So
Steve,
should. More Grand Prix riders from England, the better for me.
Do you know what? I think it'll be a good thing for Dixon and Bobby having a UK rider back, just working locally and doing the right thing. Steve will spend more time on the bike, be more motivated. Like, you know, I think it will be good for everyone.
Quality,
and I'm
well, with him and Josh doing Grand Prix as well.
Who?
Gilbert.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a few guys back in Grand Prix after our conversation last year.
Yeah,
and it's all
well, it
doom and
has
gloom.
to be. Otherwise, I'll be racing bloody Grand Prix again. I tell you what, see if Thomas, like, a shout out to my sponsors this year, because I
pull the mic over. You're gonna go.
Sorry,
quiet.
I wore the shirt deliberately today because I haven't gotten the podium at all. You know, like, and I was like, these guys need a shout out. So,
Dude,
so Moji
shout it out.
Kawasaki,
Fucking shout it out.
JTL, HVAC, all these guys, they remember what we're remembering right now. They were there. They've watched like since day dot me come through the ranks, and they just appreciate that I can do this sport and do it well. So.